Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Being the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason carries a lot of responsibilities. Most important, I must make sure that my colleagues have some credibility. Not too much, but some. So I'm listening to talk radio today, and one of the hosts is ripping Baker Mayfield for his performance in yesterday's seventh win of the year. Let me repeat, seventh win of the year. Then a call comes in, and he wants the Browns to sign the quarterback who replaced the injured Drew Brees in New Orleans yesterday. The guy says, well, I saw some highlights and he really looked good. You're comparing a guy whose highlights you saw versus a guy who won 2 games in a row in rainstorms? Get off Baker's case and let him play and let him show you why he was the #1 pick in the draft. This announcement was approved by Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Cleveland sports. Bud Shaw joins us next. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Monday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into its 25th consecutive year, and powered by cleveland.com. Bud Shaw is powered by Bud Shaw, and he is with us tonight as he has been for maybe 23 of those 25 years. Hello, Bud.
Great to be with you, Les.
You know, I was thinking that you've been with me, I think, 23 years, and I haven't seen you in a year.
I know. Hey, 25 continuous years. That means COVID-19 didn't even stop you, Les.
Oh,
We're gonna think of it that way.
It will. It will. Don't worry. Let me ask you this, without putting too much effort in thinking about it. What I think the funniest moment with you and I together on the show might have been when Bert Grafe delivered his speech a la Ichiro and gave his commentary backwards.
Yeah, he had tried to interview Ichiro, who had completely turned his back on him and faced his locker during the interview. So Bert recreated that, which between that and some of Hoinzie's rants, I would say there's a highlight show right there between them.
Classic. Well, speaking of highlights, it's not easy to look pretty in a game with weather like we've had here in Cleveland the last 3 years. You know, I'm thinking about some new players in Cleveland, and they go to older Cleveland players and they say, "What kind of city is this? It rains from 1 to 4 p.m. on every Sunday." It's pretty much what happens.
And it brings 50-mile-an-hour winds occasionally.
Right,
too.
right. The guy was saying, "Well, maybe we should just announce that the game's at 1 and actually play it at 4."
So throw off the weather. I like it.
Yeah. So I don't know what you got to hear on the commentary, Truth and Reason. Comparing a guy because they saw his film, they think that that's better than what you have in Baker Mayfield. Are we that good in this as fans in this town that we don't know what we're looking at?
Well, that's a really extreme viewpoint there. I don't know if we're looking at the #1 pick in the draft right now, but I do know that we're looking at a guy who's on his 4th head coach and offensive coordinator, and is being asked to supplement a running offense. And under those circumstances, I think we have to watch how this year plays out before we jump to too many conclusions. Has he looked great all the time? No. Did he make some mistakes yesterday? Obviously. But he's also shown that he's capable of making the big throws in big moments. And I'm not willing to rule out the possibility that he's going to become a good NFL quarterback for a number of years.
At this point, and I keep hearing people say, well, we have to show what he does. Can he make the throws? Can he do this? Can he do that? If you haven't seen that he can make the throws, you're not watching the right channel, I think. He doesn't do it all the time, but he can. He made a pass. He made 2 bad passes, one underthrown and overthrown. But then he had one down the sideline that was as pretty as anybody can do in the NFL.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to. I'm sure he's being evaluated by this coaching staff, and they're not just saying, "Oh well, the weather has been bad the last few games. We're not even going to look at the film." I'm sure they're looking at everything, and they may find him lacking in some areas. I have told you this 100 times that I thought he was the most accurate rookie quarterback I'd seen in a long time, and I certainly have seen evidence that he's not as accurate as I thought he was as a rookie when he came in. But again, I'm not ready to say, boy, this I don't know. They need to start looking at for a replacement for this guy. I mean, I think that's way premature.
Yeah, I mean, who are you going to find? You got one guy on the bench already that you don't want being your starting quarterback. I think the decision should have been made, and I hope it has been made in Baker's favor. You know, for those who wonder if he's a leader, if he's into it, and all that stuff, all you have to do is replay that. I think it was Chubb who was running down the sideline, and there's Baker going like this, running right with him, dancing along with him. If you don't think
Yeah.
that's leadership, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I don't have questions about him in that regard. You know, I understand that the organization has to do more than just say, is should he be our starter, you know, for the next 2 years or whatever, because there's a money figure attached to that kind of decision at the end of this year. You know, will they commit to him uh, for the next contract? I think they will, but I also see that if you're looking to answer all the questions in the first 3 or 4 years about whether this guy is the guy you want to get behind and spend hundred and some $1 million on, that you would still have some concern about whether that's a good investment. But in this league, and given what they have offensively with Stefanski, I like what Stefanski has done with other quarterbacks he's worked with. I think it's a pretty good bet.
Well, if he's got the Browns are in position, the best position they've been in division wise in what 20 years since they came back in '99. What quarterback have we seen? And we've seen 25 of them, or whatever that number is. Who's out there that they missed on that they should have had or still have? I can't think of anybody.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to go down the list and say, should they have drafted Deshaun Watson ahead of Mayfield? Should they have drafted Lamar Jackson? Should they have drafted Mahomes? You know, I understand that people think that there's some other quarterbacks that are of his generation that have higher ceilings. But I'm still not willing to say that I don't think there's any growth left with this guy. You know, it's so hard in this league. It's the hardest position in all of sports. And it's especially hard when you keep changing offenses and coaches and
Right.
personnel. So
You
we're
wouldn't think,
seeing it right now.
You know, you wouldn't think that if you didn't understand the game at all. You'd say, well, you just throw the quarterback in and he looks, and if the guy's open, you throw it. That's not even close to what this is all about. Your argument about toughest position, I might make an argument for goaltender in hockey, but you're absolutely right. You have to work as a team, and these guys look to the outside. They look like they're working as a team right now.
Yeah, you know, the thing that's impressed me most about Stefanski, Les, is that we know what the identity of the offense is. Some people, you know, would like it to be the starting quarterback, and maybe it will be at some point. But right now, the identity of this offense is that they will wear you down with their running game, and they'll mix in enough play action to keep defenses honest, and then the line of scrimmage.
Stefanski said something today that I thought was interesting. He was talking about the running game, and he said that when you look at all the positions, the defensive positions, when you're running the ball, some of those plays that gain a yard or lose a yard, they're just this close from breaking the whole way, and you got to keep pounding at them and working on them. And that's apparently, they don't care if the big run comes in the first period or the fourth period.
Yeah, we see that with these two running backs, especially, since I think they're always putting pressure on defenses and always capable of turning that 2-yard, you know, gain into a 12-yard gain. I think it's a pretty good sign that late in these games, they're wearing teams down.
It looked to me like he might have hit the end line.
Yeah, the byline.
Yeah, but no, on the replay, it was clear the body control is unbelievable.
Yeah, both of those guys. I mean, how many times can you lose an all-pro running back and replace him with a guy who led the league in rushing during a season? So, I mean, the other thing about 7-3, Les, is, you know, I understand that they've taken advantage of the schedule, and every team has to do that if they're going to make the playoffs and be good. But they've also now gone 7-3 with missing Chubb for a number of games. They'll be missing Garrett now for a second game. Obviously, not they don't have Beckham, so that's what I mean when I talk about an identity. I mean, they know what they want to do. It's not predicated on specifically on personnel.
Well,
You
the
know,
defense might. The defense might.
sure, but they didn't play badly yesterday without Garrett.
No.
I thought that was not a great test. I'll give you that. That offensive line for Philadelphia was
Right.
a mess.
Well, a win is a win, is my theory.
Absolutely.
My theory in life. 216-575-0403. You see the address down there, the phone number as well as the address if you want to email during the show, and that's realeslevine@gmail.com. And Bud Shaw with us. We'll take your calls and see how you feel about this Browns team. Matthew Della Vedova is still a Cavalier. Who knew? Back in a moment, powered by cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Maurice, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Let's take a look at birthdays for today. This guy was fun to watch. Louis Tiant, born, who knows when he was really born, out of Cuba. Penny Loafers, 1947. Brooke Jacoby, one time hit 30 home runs and 63 RBIs. I don't know how you do that. Jonathan Papelbon, Justin Turner, and Jordan Elliott, all born on this date, the 23rd of November. You know, Bud, you and I are the older. Yeah, I didn't know how to say it nicely. Me, older than you. I always thought that, you know, President Kennedy was assassinated in 1963, and I just assumed that there would be a big thing every year. And now, as the years go by, it just passes into the night, and you kind of forget that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some remembrances the other day, but it's generally what happens now is that it's on every 5 or 10 years or 20 years that people recognize it again. That Louis Tiant number was interesting, Les. You're telling me he's either 80 or 90, right? We're not sure which.
C. He was so much fun to watch. You had Tiant and McDowell on the same pitching staff
Oh,
in the
wow.
late '60s, and
Get your popcorn.
what's that?
Get your popcorn, as they say. Yeah.
That was fun. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Any concern? We sort of brought up Myles Garrett and the fact he'll be out again. Is there a concern on your part that they're just quickly saying you're not eligible next week, or is that just what the protocol is?
I think that's just what the protocol is. You know, I got to admit to being surprised by the fact that there haven't been more tests, positive tests in the NFL than there have been. So it must suggest that teams are following protocol as well as they can be expected to at this point.
Right. All right. So when Chubb plays, look at some of these stats here. When Chubb plays, the Browns are now 5-1 on the season. Draw from that what you will. 8 rushes of 20 or more yards. That leads the NFL. That's a pretty good stat. 8 rushes of at least 20. He's rushed for 100-plus yards in 4 of his 6 games. And you don't know, he might have been affected in 2 of them. He might not have been as healthy as he would like. And 5 rushing touchdowns this season, and a terrific downfield blocker. So this guy's come out of nowhere. You got to give some credit to somebody for making that pick.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it always made more sense to pick him there than it did in the top of the draft, where the Giants took Saquon Barkley. But he certainly has made that commitment look, you know, really smart on the Browns' part, because this guy is, and you know, I don't know how much, you know, we lived through some regimes here, and we won't mention any names, Ray Farmer, where guys were drafted, Justin Gilbert, without coaches really even spending much time talking to them.
Right.
You know, that didn't happen often, for sure, but whoever sat with Chubb and found, you know, what they were looking for, or saw what they were looking for in terms of personality and integrity and commitment and dedication.
Team player.
Yeah, team player. I mean, I think he's probably the most popular guy in that locker room, if only because of the way he plays the game. And when was the last time we could say that about a particular Browns player?
No, it's been a while. Mary Kay Cabot was here the day after you last week. She was on Tuesday, and she said that she thought the Browns would be ahead of Baltimore in 2 more games. So there was the game the other night that they lost, and now the Browns were just 1 game behind, and they'll have a chance because Baltimore is playing Pittsburgh this week. So she might be right on that, and they might. Not only that, Cleveland plays Baltimore, and they could run away from them if things fall the right way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a product of the Ravens not playing particularly well over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and also just the way the schedule has fallen. You know, we're going to see the Browns here have to play Tennessee a week after this game. We know they still have Baltimore and Pittsburgh left. So when those games come around, that's why it's so important to win the games you're supposed to win. And this week is certainly another one of those down in Jacksonville.
You think that you think Pittsburgh runs the table?
No, I don't. I just think it's too hard to do. It's too hard to keep focus. I wouldn't put it past the Browns being able to beat them here.
Well, but the difference is they need the games to win the division. Because they've got Kansas City right on their tails too.
Well, you mean to win the whole conference?
Yeah, to get home field all the way. Maybe get a bye. You'd love to get a bye. I mean, Kansas City's got to say, I've only got 1 loss here, and I don't have the bye sewed up yet.
Yeah, I mean, listen, how many teams have gone 16-0, right? So we know it's a pretty hard thing to do. And the Steelers have surprised me. I thought that they were going to be much better, especially getting Roethlisberger back. But I certainly didn't think that they would, you know, they would be undefeated at this point in the season. And they have Baltimore at home on Thursday night. I know the Ravens are facing some more COVID positive tests this week. Their facility was closed today for that reason. And it's certainly lining up for the Steelers to go to 11-0. Or Is that where they're at? They're 10-0 now. Yeah.
10-0,
So
yeah.
they would go to 11-0 with a win. It's going to be a tough one for Baltimore to turn around with
Yeah.
other issues this week and win in Pittsburgh. And they don't play very well when they're over there.
No. All right, so we'll take another look at the playoff standings right now. And while they look bunched up just by virtue of teams playing their same teams each week, some people have to fall in and fall out. You got the Steelers at 10-0, the Chiefs at 9-1, followed by four teams with a 7-3 record, including the Browns. And the Browns have the head-to-head over the Colts, but not the Raiders, so that's not good. And then the Ravens are at 6-4, and so are the Dolphins. So anything can happen here. This is going to jumble up in the next week or two, and it won't even be looking like you're actually seeing the same standings here right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not convinced that that the Bills are and the Colts are better than the Browns, especially in the case of the Colts, because they've already beaten the Colts head to head. But I also look at that list, and I think the Raiders are a very good team right now. And I think they're a team that, could end up finishing ahead of the Browns. I don't believe they have the toughest schedule coming up now. And so I think they're still going to finish in that 6-7 spot in the playoffs. And hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? You'd like them to be higher, but after all these years, that'd be pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that it matters. Once you get past the Steelers and the Chiefs, I'm not sure that it matters where you're put together in the hat.
Yeah, and this
except
time
that you want to play at home.
Yeah, and this time around, I'm not even sure home is all that huge of an advantage anymore when you have such limited fan numbers in the stands.
Look, when you think about what the Browns are doing and where they've come from, and then you look at the couple of divisions where you're going to be under 500 and win it, it's almost not fair, but that's you play the hand that's dealt you.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a good division for a long time with Baltimore and Pittsburgh in it, and I hate to see what happened to Joe Burrow in Cincinnati.
It's terrible.
There apparently there were even more issues than the ACL and MCL. I think to be fair to him, you might not see him until 2022.
Yeah.
And so that's going to stunt their growth, because I thought he was having a tremendous rookie year.
Well, he was, and don't you remember? Almost everybody was assuming he was going to get hurt based on the poor line play of Cincinnati. I'm not blaming it on them, but it's not surprising to anybody.
No, it's not. Not that he was just taking a beating, and you really hate to see that. He's been a guy that was become a popular teammate everywhere he's played, and you could see it when he was leaving the field. That these guys feel the same way about him. So hopefully he gets back. But if Roethlisberger stays around for another couple of years, and in this offense, it looks like that's a possibility. I mean, they're not exposing him to these, waiting to throw 50 yards downfield anymore.
Right.
And so it's going to be a tough division for a long time. And I think that's why when people look at Mayfield, they say, we want to see a guy who we look at next year and say he's among the top two quarterbacks in the division. And right now they don't see that. And it's probably not fair to him, but that's that's probably the take of most people.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come on back. Devin and Concord undoubtedly waiting in line somewhere. I'm not sure where, but we'll take his call, your call, anybody's call. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively right here on cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone!
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen. For old world traditions or original experiences, from the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Right now, the numbers that matter most for Baker Mayfield are 7 and 3. That's the Browns' record, and one that fans have not seen from their team in a long, long time. It's true that at this point in his career, Baker Mayfield is more of a game manager than a franchise quarterback. But with the way this offense is set up, Mayfield is, to quote Bill Belichick, doing his damn job. These Browns are one of the NFL's best running teams.
If you overthink it, it's pretty easy to get away from the plan. But, our staff's doing a great job of just sticking to what we're really good at. And that's our run game and our play action game. So when we need it, we can absolutely lean on that stuff, and that's the great part about it. So we're not getting away from the plan. We're trusting exactly what we have planned throughout the week. It's our game plan that we're just sticking with and running and executing when we need to.
Mayfield's passing numbers are okay. He's completing 61% of his passes. More importantly, he's thrown twice as many touchdowns as interceptions, only 7 picks total, and he hasn't thrown an interception in 3 straight games. Mayfield is in the middle of learning his third offensive system in 3 years. Could he develop into more than a game manager? Sure, but only time will tell. The important thing to remember, plenty of game managers have managed their offenses to Super Bowl titles. And isn't that the ultimate goal? Pile up wins.
I think Trent Dilfer follows the term game manager. I don't put Baker Mayfield in that same category. I think that he can win you games. I don't know that Dilfer could. I don't mean to pick on Dilfer, but that's who I think of. There are some others. But Baker has the ability to win football games. I know he hasn't shown it too often because he hasn't had to, or he hasn't been in position to do so. But I think he's got whatever anybody's looking for, I think he's got.
Well, we saw it in the Cincinnati game. Again, is that because it was Cincinnati? I don't know. And we saw it some his rookie year, for sure. I mean, he was the reason they won the Jets game when he came into it. So I think that's still there, too. I'm just been a little bit surprised that he, last year I thought physically he wasn't as mobile, maybe had carrying too much weight. And this year he hasn't been as accurate as I thought he was. But again, that doesn't mean that he can't get better at everything. He's still a third-year quarterback?
Yes.
All these years run together,
All right, I'm going to see if I can manage this show here for a minute. Hey, Brian, is it possible to show that the opening to the Bacon Bits thing so Bud can take a look at it? Can we do that? Maybe, maybe not. But if they pop it up, I want you to look at it for a minute. Maybe we can't. Maybe I'm not managing this game very well.
Yeah, right now, Les, you don't seem to be getting the plays called in on time.
My competition isn't that good in this game. Can't do it? Can do it?
This is when you're supposed to go like this, the way Baker used to Freddie on the sideline.
Right.
Like, give me the play.
The clock is moving. Anyway, in the beginning of that intro, when Dave Bacon shows his stuff and animated, and Dave was a tremendous pitcher back in the day. And I asked Brian if you look at the open, it shows Louisville behind him. And I said, what kind of connection does Dave have with Louisville? He didn't go to school there. He went to John Carroll. And then you look at it close, it's Loudville. It's almost Louisville. Next week we'll take a look at it.
But he did a
Oh,
good.
here you go. Here you
there
go.
we
Wait a minute. Here you go. There. That looks like
Oh,
Louisville to
yeah.
me.
Yeah. No, he did a very good job with that video. He makes a lot of good points in there, I think.
Yeah. Well, only because he agrees with us.
Case Keenum is a game manager, right? You know, I mean, Case Keenum is the guy who you bring in and hope if Baker gets hurt, you bring him in and you hope he can hand off and not hurt you too much. I think Mayfield's going through a little bit of a transition and dealing with such a power running game, and you know is not going to have those 40 throw games as long as they're winning. So and you know what? He's not complaining about it. Well,
No,
if
he's not.
he were sitting there unhappily discussing the way the offense was going, then I think you'd have some real concerns.
All right, I'm managing this show by going to Bill in North Olmsted. Bill, how are you?
Hey guys,
Hey,
I'm
Bill.
going to tell you, I'm giving kudos to Baker Mayfield. I think he's a cross between Brian Stipe and Bernie Kosar. You cannot underestimate what leadership is required from that position.
Well, first of all, his arm is way stronger than both of theirs.
Well, the thing that I always was worried about Stipe, and kind of is a reflection on Mayfield, is because of his size, he tends to overthrow a little bit. But his accuracy when he rolls out or is throwing a shorter pass has been very good in my estimation.
Yeah, when he
And
rolls
I'm
to the
reminded
right,
of something.
he's got tremendous arm strength when he rolls to the right toward the sideline.
Yes. And when Kosar first came up, I remember something Ozzie Newsome said. He said that from day one, Bernie showed confidence and the team believed in him. And I think Mayfield has that stature. And, boy, I'll tell you, I'm glad to have him. I wasn't the biggest fan, and especially after last year, but I think he's the guy, and I'm hoping we do extend his contract.
But let me ask you this. If you took a poll of whether it's our Facebook poll or any poll out there, do you think he's got more people who have converted onto him to be the guy, or he's taken that honor away from himself? If you start at 50, how many has more gone toward 100 or more gone down to 0?
Based on this year?
Just based on today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you meant like since his career started, because I think early on, his rookie year, I think 85-90% of people would have said he's their franchise quarterback. Last year, that probably would have been 35%. So
Bill, you agree with that?
I think it's moving up.
Yeah. Well, there's one more thing I wanted to point out. Unfortunately, you didn't have a show Saturday. Saturday was November 21st. I've called in the last 20-some years on November 21st, assuming you had a show, because it was Stan's birthday.
Stan the man.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Stan the man. What a hitter.
I had to call in because had he lived, it had been 100 on Saturday, 100 years old.
Well, I'm sorry
So
I didn't
it's sort of
extend my lengthy vacation to. I'm sorry that I had to work.
Well, I just don't want Stan to fade from the memory of sports fans because I think, well, you know how I feel about him. And every time I do call in on his birthday, I'll throw a statistic out that I just think is mind-boggling.
I think you've done that for me, Bill. You've because I didn't get to see him, and by playing interleague games, they didn't do it the right way. My idea of Stan Musial would have been different if I got to see interleague games on TV back when I was growing up. But every time you point something out, I sort of shake my head and says, you know, Bill's right. He's better than I thought he was. And I think the thing I think the stat that he's got the same amount of hits on the road as he did at home is unbelievable.
Yeah, the 18-15. And as Vin Scully once said, he was so good he took your breath away. But the stat I was going to throw out was that he reached base over 5,300 times in his career. And for his first 20 years, he never struck out more than 40 times in a year. And he once held the record for consecutive games in the National League. So
yeah, you want to look at guys. You want to look at guys with at least amount of strikeouts. Take a look at some of the stats of Nellie Fox, the second baseman for the White Sox.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Nellie Fox.
Well, he'd strike out at least 4 times a year.
Yeah, he was also MVP in 1959.
Yeah,
and
that was the Go-Go Sox.
That was, yep,
yeah.
Fun team.
All right, Bill, great to talk to you as always. See, when the weather gets
right.
bad, you know
Thanks.
Bill's not far behind. Always bringing up baseball. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come on back in a moment. Smiley One, right now you find it very easy to invest in a new heating or cooling comfort system without breaking your budget. For a limited time, take advantage of the special financing, 36 months on special select Bryant high-efficiency equipment. They make it easy for your family to stay comfortable all year long. Call Smiley One for further details. And by the way, congratulations to Smiley One. The fine people at the Bryant have named them one of the top dealers in the country. And you can take advantage of their great service. We're going to take a break. We'll come on back. More sports and less. Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smileyone.com.
This date in sports history, we all remember this, from 2016. Kevin Love scores 34 points in the first quarter of a 137-125 Cavalier win over Portland. It's the second highest scoring quarter in NBA history. Klay Thompson, who, by the way, is out for the season, Thompson scored 37 in a quarter back in 2015. Bud Shaw with us. It's a Monday night. Mary Kay Cabot will join us. Hey, Bud, what's that to your left at the bottom? What is that? Is that a floor? What is that?
Wow, looks like nature stuff. Well, no, it's actually a hardwood floor here in my house. But if
Mike
if I had my druthers, it would be nature stone.
Okay, Mike, what is that?
I listen, guys. I think Bud said it best. I can't follow that one up.
Well, our writers stayed up all night coming up with that.
Yeah. That was good.
All right, Michael, here we go again. Ho-hum, another Browns win.
Yeah, I mean, they're winning the games that they're supposed to win, which is good to see. I thought, with Garrett out, I thought the defense played very, very well, albeit against an opponent that they should really, beat. I think that Wentz with the Browns team, he's kind of hit or miss as a quarterback, and against a Browns team that does get pressure on the quarterback. and he holds the ball for a long time. It was a pretty bad matchup for him, and of course Peters went down, I think, for the Eagles, which hurt their offensive line. But Vernon, stepped up big time, and this is the third game in a row where they played in poor conditions. The Vegas Raiders team that they lost to, they're legit. I mean, they played Kansas City last night all the way down to the wire. So they've lost to three teams now. One of them's undefeated, and two of them are 6-4 and are really good 6-4 teams. And everybody else they've beat, and they beat them in the bad weather conditions, good weather conditions. With Mayfield playing well, with them not playing well. This Stefanski's a pretty good coach, and they're starting to become fun to watch.
Yeah, and also the camera work is so good that you don't realize when they show a close-up of the rain smacking down on the helmets, you can tell how bad it is. But just the general picture, you don't really get an idea how bad it is out there. And so when people start ripping on him because he overthrew or underthrew, you just say, "Come on, you never played a game of football in your life, and you're going to make that kind of a statement."
Listen, go throw on some sweatpants and a t-shirt and go run around your backyard with the rain coming down like that. Then you'll get an idea of what's going on, and they got helmet and shoulder pads on with it. So yeah, that's not an easy thing to do.
I was listening to Bud and to Mike Masetta from Nature Stone. I was listening to Stefanski's press conference today, and somebody brought up the fact that as bad as the weather was, I don't recall anybody slipping. Do you guys?
No.
I mean, Stefanski took it as an opportunity to praise his grounds crew down there, but you would think the way that was coming down, you'd think guys would be slipping all over the place.
Yeah, there wasn't much of that at all. I mean, I'm sure there was some footing that Chubb and Hunt probably wished that had been better for them early in some of those runs. But, Mike makes a good point about the quality of teams they've beaten or they've lost to. But also, that Colts team looks better than we thought they were. And they end up beating they have a win over a pretty good Colts team right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. And now the schedule breaks their way. I suggest Roethlisberger sits out that game against the Browns. They need to rest him.
Well, that's an interesting point that you make because, if they continue to win at the pace that they're winning, they're going to wrap up the number one seed before that game is actually played. Well,
they got it. They're one game behind. They're one game ahead of Kansas City.
Kansas City, yeah. So one or two for sure. But either way, they're going to get that bye. And once they lock in a bye, they're not. I don't know why they would play Roethlisberger against the Browns.
No, it's not that important to go undefeated.
No, well, here's the thought though: if the Browns keep winning, right?
Yeah.
Won't Pittsburgh need to win that game against the Browns to make sure they get the division title? Is that week? What week is that? Is that the final game or is it?
I think it's
the
final. I think it's the final game.
I'm sorry. I thought it came.
Oh, they'd have one more than that. No, I think it's the final game.
Okay, that's right. Mike's right.
Yeah, but how about this?
They're up 3.
It's Baltimore that I was thinking of.
Yeah. How about it? And Mary Kay hit it right. I hadn't given her credit I hadn't given anybody credit. She said last week that she thought the Browns would be ahead of Baltimore after this coming week, and that looks like Thursday night it's Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and
they're ahead of them now.
But she said they'd be ahead by 2.
Huh?
That's going to be an interesting game.
They could theoretically knock them out of the playoffs. Baltimore.
Yes. Yeah, the AFC is top heavy with their records.
Right.
And they right now Baltimore is out of the playoffs. So I believe that they're out of the playoffs. So yeah, they could definitely knock them out. But that's going to be an interesting game because that'll show the progression of this team. Where are they at when they play against the Ravens? That's a team that beat them 35-3 or some ridiculous amount.
And the Browns,
early in the year.
The Browns have petitioned the league to see if they can get that game to start at 1:00 on Sunday when the rains come in.
Yeah, I do the same thing. But they're winning games similar to what the Ravens and Harbaugh's have played like in the past. They've got two really good running backs. And, Mayfield's managing the game. I'm anxious to see what Mayfield does when he's got a nice track to throw him. I want
he probably
to see
forgets how to do that.
Improvement.
He probably forgets how to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's made some good throws in this weather. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
no question.
Yeah,
All right, Mike,
he's looked good.
we got to run. We'll talk to you very, very soon. Mike is from Nature Stone. What is that stuff?
Hey, wow, it's Nature Stone. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Hey,
Mike
Mike.
said
All right, take care.
great
All right.
company, great people, great family, and that, of course, at Nature Stone. We're going to take a break. We'll come on back in a moment. More Sports and Less Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Time for a How Come Quickie, Bud. How come every time I'm in line at the gas station, I'm behind a guy who takes all day to buy his chewing tobacco? Ever happened to you?
It has happened to me, Les, but I don't think that's a strong how come quickie.
My writing staff is not going to be happy with that. Nor are they happy that the Cavs traded Jordan.
Oh, wait a second. Wait, I held up the wrong one.
The 05? Oh. The Cavs traded Jordan Bell, Alonzo McKinney to the Lakers for JaVale McGee and a 2026 second-round pick. Why do they bother announcing that? Hey, we got a 2026 second-round pick.
That gives us something to look forward to now. We need to stick around until 2026 to talk about who that pick is.
Good point. Good point. All right, the 7-foot big man averaged 6.6 points per game, 5.7 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks per game last season. He's expected to be Andre Drummond's backup. He'll be a free agent after this year. The Cavs also signed Damian Dotson to a 2-year, $4 million deal. He's 26 years old, 3 NBA seasons with the Knicks, 6.7 points per game, 41% field goals last season. And they also signed Delly to a 1-year deal. Huh.
Delly will be here, yeah.
As long as
Delly
somebody
will still
says
be
yes.
here in 2026 too.
Yeah, he'll welcome him at the airport. We'll welcome this guy to the airport. I think he's a first-time caller, at least tonight. That would be Devin in Concord. Hi, Devin.
What's going on, guys?
How you doing? Happy holiday.
Happy holidays to both you guys. Hope you're staying safe. Turkey or ham for Thanksgiving, by the way?
I think this year I'll try the turkey.
I never. People were talking ham. I'm like,
nobody named Levine is.
Ham.
I'll tell you that.
Hey, you guys did the Cavs thing real quick. I know you guys are in sports and all that stuff, but when was the last NBA draft you actually watched?
The kid from Akron.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, other than that, I mean, good Lord, right?
Do you remember when LeBron was drafted and how Austin Carr just keeled over in tears?
Yeah.
I was
there that
walking
night.
off.
Well, that was so heartfelt. I mean, that wasn't made up, by the way. And
I
by
was
the way,
walking off
I just
Orchard-
said by the way twice in the same sentence. But you're going to start, and I don't know all the details, but it'll be coming out. But you know, Fox Sports Ohio and Sports Time Ohio is changing ownership or management. You're going to see a totally different, maybe not this year, but in the future, you're going to see a totally different way to watch games, and it'll all be centered around bookmaking and all that. It's going to be owned
I'm okay with that.
by Bally's. It'll be owned by Bally's.
Huh. Interesting.
So as soon as the Ohio lawmakers get in-house gambling going, that you'll see a totally different way the games are presented. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was walking off Orchard Hills, and a buddy of mine called me when we drafted LeBron. That's kind of what I remember on that one. But you know what I'm going to
What'd you get on the hole?
I'm going to miss. What's that?
What'd you get on the hole?
Oh, I don't count my putts, Les.
I have to tell you the story, and Bud will understand because I'm gonna leave off the important part, like who it involved. But we were playing golf one day at Sleepy Hollow, and there was a story. I said, "Hey, did you hear about such and such?" On the 17th hole, I go, "Do you hear about such and such?" And they said no, and I told them the story, and Bud says it can't possibly be true because when you have a story like that, you don't wait till the 17th hole.
Yeah. That should have been told on the driving range.
Yeah, that's the first one out of the box.
Yeah, right. You're waiting to get your change from the when you're buying your tea time.
Hey, Devin, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
How'd your boy Carson Wentz look on Sunday?
Hey, now my boy D. Podesta's not looking so bad, is he? I don't hear anyone
No, he's
talking
not.
about what he's right.
It's looking like they should have listened to him about Stefanski a year earlier.
Hey, help me out on this.
That's
Speaking of
true.
D. Podesta, the Browns were up by 7, and they were inside the 10, I think, which I thought they should have kicked the field goal. You remember the situation? I guess what I want to know is when they decided to kick the field goal, and it would have been routine even in the bad weather. I think the line of scrimmage was the 7 or the 8, and that would have put them up by 10. And I'm just wondering if the choice to go for it, which they missed, if that's what analytics is all about. Is that what the analytics play call is? When you're up by 7, you don't make it 10. You try to make it 14. Anybody? Can anybody help me?
I think a lot of with analytics has to do with like going for it a lot, like the percentage of you making 2 yards on a 4th and 2 type of thing.
Yeah, but the clock has to be involved too with how much you're up by at that point in the game.
Yeah, I think the probability of you making 2 yards outweighs all of that. I don't. To be honest with you, I'm taking the points.
Me too. Me too,
Yeah,
because I saw the game in the 60s.
But I think Devin's right.
especially
I
when it
see
was
more and more
raining.
teams going for it on 4th and short than used to.
Yeah,
Even from 40-yard line.
Yeah. It just seemed there wasn't that much time on the clock, 2 possessions maybe, and I wouldn't mind being up by 10. Oh, well.
Right. Hey,
All right,
but,
finish with the crescendo here, Devin.
Real quick. Is Tristan Thompson gone?
Yes, he's going to Boston, 2-year deal.
So,
and somewhere along the line this week, we're going to say, should his number be retired by the Cavs?
So is it me, or does that mean we're going to miss the Kardashian effect?
No, we kept them.
That is what is wrong with America. That they are famous and wealthy over nothing.
Yeah, I think you can name a lot of people like that.
On.
Yeah. All right, you finished with a great crescendo. We appreciate it. We got to go.
All right.
Wow,
See
it's
you, Devin.
Nature Stone.
Hey, happy
I agree with you.
All right, yeah, happy holiday, Devin, you and your family.
You too.
Voicemail of Truth and Reason, 216-200-6650. If you got something to say, can't get it on the show, give us a call, leave a message, and we'll get to it as soon as we can. We'll take a break. We'll come back one more time with Bud Shaw. Thanks to Devin. Thanks to Bill. Anybody else who called tonight. More sports and less Levine. And, of course, we are driven by our friends at cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Mary Kay Cabot from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer will join us. But I gave her you see us from 6 to 7 Eastern Time, 6 to 7 p.m., and you can follow us all day long, wherever you can find us, which is all over the place. I gave Mary Kay a homework assignment last week to find out what the referee actually warns the coach about when it's a 2-minute warning. You have any idea what he warns them? Hey, you better do this or else?
He warns him that Les Levine is watching very closely in clock management. That's what he tells him.
2 minutes is 2 minutes is 2 minutes. So anyway, Rich from Mason, Ohio, near Cincinnati, says, I have an answer to that. What does the referee warn about in the 2-minute warning? He says that there's about 30 minutes left of commercials coming up, so you're not going to be back in the field anytime soon.
It's a good point.
Yeah. All right. So Mr. Gullible comes in with 2. You got room for 2 votes?
Sure.
Judgments? He can do better than the second one. I know that. First one's pretty good. How come stairs cannot be trusted since they're always up to something?
Yeah. I don't mind it.
You don't mind it?
Yeah. I didn't know where he was going with it.
Yeah.
It's a little punny, but I still like it.
This one is not good. I'm just telling you.
Well,
I'm just
now
warning
that
you.
Say that, Les.
No, it may surprise you. May surprise you.
Okay.
How come the best wood in most golfers' bag is the pencil? Here's my. Yeah, it's about right.
Yeah, I've heard that one before.
Yeah, and that's one. Yeah. Just it's like some of the tests to get into college. If you just show up and put your name on the paper, you get a 5.0.
Exactly.
I think the best pencil quickie we have is, how come if the number 2 pencil is the best pencil, how come it's number 2?
Yeah, I've heard you use that one before, and I like that one. Are you looking for me to give you a high grade?
Well, higher than a 5.0.
8.0.
Well, you have them in a box?
I do. If you didn't believe before that I have a lot of time on my hands, now you believe.
Are they in numerical order? Or how fast can you put out a 3.4?
I don't go that low. I want people to keep coming back. So
okay, Browns get a
if
win.
I give somebody a 3.4, they're probably never entering it again.
No, you walk away. You tip your cap and you're gone. Did the Browns win on Sunday?
Yes, they do.
Wow.
They're 8-3.
8-3. You know what 8-3 is? 11.
I picked them to win 10 games. I still think they can go 10 or 11 now.
Excellent. Thanks to the great Bud Shaw. We'll see you soon. I hope I see you within the next year.
Me too, Les.
Have a great holiday, you and your family. Enjoy.
All right, same to Brian and all the guys back there.
And everybody stay safe, please. All right, we'll see you tomorrow with Mary Kay Cabot. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.